Oh shit, I didn't even know. It's fucking recording.
Hey, what's up? This is Maniacal One here from Colossal Entertainment, the one, the only Jon Drezden. I'm here to talk about my mixtape T.O.R.N. coming out very soon. Up Loud. Interesting song. Loud is an interesting one. The first time I heard it, I was surfing. I was shopping beats on a site called Shadowville.com, and there was a producer by the name of Too Deep, and he had this crazy sample. I don't know where it is or where he got it from, but it reminded me of Super Nintendo's Turtles in Time, and it sounded grimy as a motherfucker, and I just had to put something on it. So it turned into Loud, and there's a lot of metaphors and a lot of punchlines in there. Like it's a real grimy track. I'm sure that people are gonna enjoy it as much as I enjoyed writing it. So yeah, Loud's interesting. Loud was actually the first track that I had actually written for this project. So it's an interesting piece of. I believe it's the intro. So like everything was basically done in order almost. So yeah. Studio Gangsta, featuring Radical and Chaotic Animosity. Mixtape entirely. It features my man Red, aka Radical, Chaotic Animosity. The first time I heard it, like I said, I had been doing everything kind of in order, but at this point, when I was writing, I didn't have anything that was really like ostrich necked, you know what I mean? It wasn't banging your head type shit. I didn't have nothing like that, so I was really searching hard, and I found I think the producer's name is Big Man. It says on the beat, and I just, as soon as I heard it, boom boom boom, boom boom boom, I'm like, Studio Gangsta, and at the time I had a lot of people, you know, I've been trying to bring to the studio, and they, you know, make me look bad, or else they're on Facebook asking me for verses and stuff, and when I tell them, yeah, this is how much I charge, they're like, oh, you don't do it for the art, and it's like, you know what I mean? It's my job. So that was basically inspired entirely by those Facebook rappers being like, oh, I can't blah, 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 and I was like, this is perfect for the studio gangsters. You know what I mean? So that's how that track came about. Pop the cork. Awesome celebration shit. Pop the cork. Pop the cork. I recently just got off tour with my man's Fury and Cryptic, and they were nice enough to bring me on to Bazaar and this American tour. And I've noticed a lot of people, this is my first time being in the States, I noticed a lot of people were really into trap music. Myself personally, I don't really, I don't sit back and just on the daily listen to trap music. I don't have a huge problem with it. It's just, it's not something that I'm into, but performing it on stage and seeing the way that it was presented, I seen it in a different light, and I'm like, you know what, let me try this. And that was actually like the first trap song I'd ever done in my life, and it turned out really good. So it was just like the whole track of, you know, like I said, I just got off tour, and it was kind of like a celebration type song. I was like, this is a feel-good moment, but yet it's still grimy and it's still gritty and it's still the same Drezden that's aggressive and fucking violent on the fucking verse. You know what I mean? So it's a nice little addition to the whole mixtape itself. Enemies Close. Enemies Close. Enemies Close is like the first grimy kind of piece I wrote, other than Loud. A lot of people have told me that some of my best stuff that I you know, released has been more of the violent, kind of angry, you know, genre of rap. So when I heard this, I had actually just moved from Winnipeg to Brandon, and a lot of people were getting twisted up with me. You know, I'm not gonna say any names or anything like that, but a lot of people were getting things twisted up with me, and it's like, you know, to me it was like I better keep my, you know, my family closer, my enemies closer. So that's how that kind of came about. And there's a lot of punchlines in there that, you know, and a lot of bars in there that relate to the situation that was going on at the time, with people being like, oh, we don't mess with these people, we don't mess with these people, we don't bother with them. And realistically, it's like, I'm not even trying to be on that, I'm just trying to do my own thing. So that was me just, you know, don't get it twisted. I still keep you in check. I still see you, you know, what you're saying. Just because your girlfriend got me blocked on Facebook doesn't mean I can't see what you're doing. So that's how that kind of track came about. So yeah, that's Enemies Close. Underground, featuring Dip and Chaotic Animosity. Underground's like, man, when I first heard the beat, I was like, man, this is crazy. This is like, the whole flow was like, I was listening to like a lot of R.A. the Boogeyman and stuff like that, Apathy and Army of the Pharaohs. And at the time I was kind of like, man, I wish I should do something like a grimy beat like that. And when I heard it the first time, I was like, man, you know what? My man Dip, I've done projects with him before, and I just recently actually got his mixtape, and I started listening to it for the people, and I was like, man, he would fit so perfectly on that. And then the next person I thought, who would be more lyrical? Who could bring more to this project? And immediately after that, I thought of Chaotic Animosity, because if you listen to anything, if you listen to the Outbreak CD, you can see that like so much work had went into every single track. And it's just like, that's his work ethic. Not only mine, but his as well. Him maybe even more so. So I was like, man, he fit perfectly on that. So that's how Underground came about. And yeah, I just think it's a good, it's a really good addition to the whole mixtape. So that's why I chose those two artists to join it. Lucky Feather. Lucky Feather. Lucky Feather's kind of one of those. It's more like it's feel good. I wouldn't say it's exactly like a radio jammer, but if you listen to the message that I put across in Lucky Feather, it's more of I'm continually, all the time, you know, improving and becoming a better artist, lyrically, business-wise, and everything else. So that's more of like it really accentuates. It really extends on the fact that I'm gonna continually get better, because if you listen to my older stuff and my older mixtapes and you hear, you know, I'm still kind of in the oven, I'm still kind of baking and still trying to get to that, you know, spot. And it's like, I'm learning that I'm still plateauing and I'm not stopping. Like, there's a lot of cats out there that I know, and they're good guys, I have no problems with them, but they're just, you know, some guys are not just, they're just not gonna get better, unfortunately. You know, just kind of remain the same. They don't show any kind of interest in improving. And my thing is like, if I'm not gonna be improving and getting better each time I do something, then why am I gonna bother doing it? So Lucky Feather is kind of a contribute to that, in the sense of I'm gonna continually keep working my hardest and keep getting better as time goes on. And that's a testament to that. My life. Seth Rock. My life. That was more of like basically saying, yeah, I lived under a table in Eddie Young's basement. Yeah, I couldn't afford to get a hotel room on tour, so I slept underworld and got stuck in the seats because I'm too goddamn fat from eating ramen noodles. And that's okay. That's fine. I'm all right with that. I'm just letting you know that if you're gonna try to diss me on that, you can't when I'm already okay with it. So that's my life. Sober, featuring Jen Banzi. Man, you know what? Sober, like I said, a lot of this mixtape was written in the last 4 months. Basically, everything that I had on my mind and on my chest has basically been put into this whole project entirely. And a big thing for me was I tried to move from Winnipeg to the royal town of Brandon, Manitoba. I tried to move here and be with some chick, and like it didn't really work out. And like when you get some alright pussy every now and then, especially for a fat man such as myself, you're gonna start falling in love with the pussy, and it's like they leave you and you're like, ugh. So every line and every rhyme that I put into that song was basically a reflection of that, saying like, I can't believe that you would like play me like this. I can't believe you put me off like this. Didn't I give you everything that, it's on that kind of tip. So Sober was basically like that. Also, the hook was originally, I was gonna sing the whole thing, and I met a very talented artist by the name of Jen Banzi, who helped me with the hook and actually helped me with the video as well, made it look very nice. She helped me record most of the music and record most of the hook, and she was that addition to the song that I think just kind of needed her to be on it in order to make it what it was. I mean, not that it was bad to begin with, but it just made it that much better. So thank you for that, Jen. I appreciate that. The River features Chaotic Animosity and Cryptic Wisdom. The River, huge song. Man, I don't want to give it the underappreciation. Let's just say it's a huge song. It's written entirely, man, every single person that's on it. Myself, Chaotic Animosity, and Cryptic Wisdom. Cryptic Wisdom especially, he read that. Right at the end, he like busts into like the singing thing, like a bridge thing he did. Chaotic comes with like the double time, triple time. Man, and you know what I mean? And I just spit everything that I felt at the time. It's so well put together. And the first time that I played it for the few people, you know what I mean? I didn't leak it, but I have close friends, and I'm like, yo, check this out. What do you think of this? And every single person that I showed it to was like, wow, that's a deep song. And I'm like, yeah. Show is, huh? Show you right. But like Cryptic Wisdom, especially Chaotic, man, those guys put it down. I can't just not credit them. I honestly think that those two did better than I did on the verse. The hook itself is like, it's like blood on the water in this river of tears. Basically saying like, blood on the water. It's like it's to you. It's like you're giving your all, but you're bleeding into this river, and it's such a big cesspool that nobody's giving a shit about it. That's how I feel. Like I just had this conversation with Chaotic earlier tonight about like we feel that like, why is it that we're spitting so hard, and why is it we're doing like all these shows and things like that? And I compare the music that we have, not only Outbreak, but our projects too as solo artists, and put them beside these other tracks that are popping right now. And no offense to those dudes because they're killing it, but it's like, you know what I mean? We're on the same caliber. Why are we not, why are we being preserved? Why are we not being recognized for this? And it's like, when you bleed into the water, it's like, no one really cares. We're just kind of trying to voice ourselves and our opinion on what it is right now. So that's basically what The River is. And it's a huge song, man. I think it's one of my favorites. That and like, yeah, I think that The River is probably my favorite on the whole mixtape itself. Sky High, featuring Radical. Wow. Sky High is a very, very, very touchy track. I actually wrote it on the plane. I was coming back from Kansas City, Missouri, flying back to Winnipeg. I stopped through in Toronto, and the whole time I was up in the air, you know what I mean, because I had a connecting flight. I would go from Kansas City, Missouri to Toronto. then to Winnipeg, back into Manitoba. And even like I said, when I said I wrote this on the plane, I literally wrote this on the plane because I would be on the plane, write it, come down, have an hour wait in Toronto, didn't touch the pen, didn't touch the pad, got back up on the plane, continued writing it. So that whole thing was on like, I noticed there's a certain artist that I listen to all the time, and he says that he likes to write his music while he's driving. When you're in motion and writing something, I think it brings like a certain, some kind of energy. I don't know how to explain it. It's like the it factor, you know what I mean? So when I recorded it and it came back to me after my producer Bryce had sent back, the final master, I'm like, man, this is really good. And like I said, this is another one of those kind of tracks where it was supposed to be like, I wasn't even supposed to be on, or I was supposed to be on the chorus. And last minute, because I had Radical came through to do the verse for Studio Gangster. And it was in the same studio session. And he said, I got nothing to do, I'll stick around, you know what I mean? And I was recording the last song of the whole mixtape, Sky High. And I was trying to do the chorus, and if you know me, I ain't got the greatest singing voice. What do you want from me? What do you want from me? I ain't got the greatest singing voice. So Bryce stops in the middle of the recording and he goes, hold on. Just went everywhere. That didn't happen. He didn't have a drink, but he went, turned around and he said to Radical, man, I ain't trying to make this like a racial thing, but black people are usually really good at singing, right? And he said, yeah, man. He said, yeah, man, we are. And I'm like, okay, I think I know what's going on. So he says, Drezden, come out of the booth, come back into the sound room. So I come back in, I'm like, what's going on? He's like, we're gonna send Radical in there, we're gonna try and get him to sing it. And he started doing that, sky low down. And I'm like, damn, this sounds like some Boyz II Men shit. We have to have this. This is gonna be something that's going down. We have, because I'm not even gonna try it. You know what? Let him do it. Fuck it, let him do it, because it just sounds so great. It was so beautiful, man. Like being in the sound room with the headphones on and listening, and he's like, sky high, below down, and he's going hard, and I'm like, wow, this is like, oh my man, this has got to be. And like he wasn't even supposed to have a verse or nothing, and like I had misinterpreted the beat because the beat was like so weirdly put together that I thought there was only like 2 longer verses and then like a hook outro kind of thing. And when we got there, Bryce says, oh, there's another thing. There's another like 8-bar like bridge thing. Oh, really? Okay. So he just continued recording. He didn't stop recording. He didn't even tell Radical. And Radical starts going in, you will make me feel like a human being. You will make me feel so supreme. And he's like going and freestyling. This is not written. This is all freestyle the whole way through, right to the end. Right even the piece, 2 pieces. Even that was like it was all improv. Everything was freestyled, and I'm like, man. He's like, what do you think about the 2 pieces thing? And I'm like, you gotta leave it. You gotta leave it because it will take away from the natural feel. Like, you just gotta leave it. And that's Sky on Fire featuring Eddie Young and Afro Soul. Actually, but there's another bonus track I'm including that was supposed to be released on the Pandemic CD, and it never happened because I'll put him on blast, because the motherfucker would never record with me. I'm gonna release On Fire on the actual CD, and On Fire is actually a track that a lot of people have heard but have never been able to obtain because it hasn't been on a CD, it hasn't been on a mixtape, it's only had radio play, and it's not even on YouTube, anything like that. So I'm gonna release it as a bonus track for you guys because I feel like On Fire is such a great song and such a great piece of art that it should be able to be appreciated to the full amount that, so I'm gonna release it and give it to you guys like that. And basically that's That's the whole mixtape right there. That's T.O.R.N. Total obliteration of regular nature. And watch for that shit, because it's already done, it's already finished. And I don't think we have a release date yet, but that's it. Colossal Entertainment. This is the maniacal Jon Drezden. Be on the lookout. T.O.R.N, baby.